Okay, so get this. Today we're diving into something pretty unique, I think. We're going to be exploring a world where, get this, cats can talk. I know what you're thinking. Is this like some kind of joke? But trust me, this deep dive is going to be both fun and surprisingly insightful. We're looking at a video script that's designed to teach English using this scenario.
It might seem a little, out there, but using a playful concept like talking cats can be a really clever way to make learning a language more engaging.
Exactly, and that's what caught my eye. It's like they take this delightfully absurd idea and turn it into like a tool for learning. So the video script jumps right into the action. You wake up one morning and boom, your cat starts talking.
It really does.
And they even give you like some example sentences right off the bat. Like, if my cat could talk, the first thing it would say is, "Where's the food?"
It's a great way to introduce that hypothetical situation, while also sneaking in some vocabulary and some basic sentence structure. You're learning without even realizing it.
Right. And it gets even more entertaining. They create a whole dialogue between like a person and their talking cat. There's this one line from the cat that I absolutely love. "Why do you always wake up so late?"
Okay, I have to admit, that's pretty funny. It plays on that common stereotype of, cats judging their owners.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to their sleep schedules.
Oh, totally.
That whole aloof and superior attitude.
I guess.
It's a classic example of anthropomorphism, giving human qualities to animals, which is a technique that's often used in storytelling and comedy to make us laugh or connect with characters.
Yeah.
But think about it, recognizing anthropomorphism in media, it can really help us understand how creators try to influence our emotions and even, our opinions.
That's such a good point. It makes you think about all those cute animal videos we see online and how they might be, playing on our emotions a little bit to get more views. But back to the video script. While we're chuckling at the, the talking cat's sass, we're also learning about things like the second conditional tense,
which is a grammatical structure that lets us explore those, hypothetical situations, those what-if scenarios. And it's perfect for imagining a world where cats can suddenly chat with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, the second conditional, it's formed using if plus the past simple tense, followed by would and the base form of the verb. For example, if my cat could talk, I would ask it so many questions.
Ooh, that's helpful. I always struggle with remembering how to use those conditional tenses correctly.
Yeah.
But you know what else I love about this video? It encourages viewers to actively participate. It asks questions like, if your cat could talk, what's the first thing it would say? Hey, I'm already imagining my cat demanding more cuddles and complaining about the brand of treats I buy.
That's the beauty of interactive learning, By asking those open-ended questions, the video turns passive viewing into an active experience. It encourages you to think critically, tap into your imagination, and even personalize the learning process.
And it really struck me, this whole idea of talking cats. It kind of goes beyond just learning English. It makes you think about the bigger picture of communication and what it would be like to truly understand our animal companions.
You're absolutely right. It raises all these fascinating questions about the human-animal bond and whether we could ever truly bridge that communication gap.
Totally.
Imagine the possibilities, if we could actually tap into their thoughts and their perspectives.
It's mind-blowing. And maybe a little bit scary, too.
Yeah.
What if our cats aren't as thrilled with us as we think they are?
Well, that's where speculative thinking comes in. The second conditional tense. It isn't just about grammar. It's a tool for exploring possibilities, challenging our assumptions, and maybe even, confronting some uncomfortable truths. And who knows? Maybe what we learn from those what-if scenarios can lead us to treat our animal companions with even more understanding and respect.
That's a really interesting point. This seemingly silly idea is making us think about some pretty profound concepts. And speaking of pushing the boundaries of imagination, this video has a grand finale. That really takes things to the next level.
Oh, you mean the part where they challenge viewers to write a short story, using those what-if scenarios and the new vocabulary they've learned?
Exactly. It's like the ultimate test of creativity and language skills all rolled into one.
It's a brilliant way to reinforce what's been learned, while also encouraging viewers to use their imagination and, have fun with the language. This video script is a fantastic example of how a creative and engaging approach can make learning more effective and enjoyable.
I completely agree. It's like they snuck in a bunch of educational value under the disguise of a talking cat. But before we go any further, I'm curious to know what you think about this whole talking cat scenario. I mean, Have you ever imagined what it would be like if your own pet could suddenly speak to you?
I actually have. And it leads to some pretty interesting thoughts about what we might learn from them,
Yeah.
Would their view of the world be completely different from ours? Would they have like these complex thoughts and emotions that we never even imagined?
Yeah, it's a pretty mind-blowing concept, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we already know that animals are capable of some pretty amazing things.
Yeah.
But to actually be able to have a conversation with them, that would change everything.
It really would. Think about all those times you've looked into your pet's eyes and wondered, like, what are they thinking? And if they could talk, would it strengthen the bond you have with them? Or would it, complicate things in ways we can't even predict?
Honestly, I'm not sure if I'd be ready for that level of honesty from my cat. She might have a few choice words about my taste in furniture.
Oh, I can imagine.
But speaking of honesty, this whole talking cat scenario also makes me think about the ethics involved.
That's a really important point. If animals could talk, would it change our responsibility towards them? Would we still see them as companions? Or would their newfound ability to communicate, elevate them to a different status?
It's almost like a science fiction dilemma, right?
Yeah.
We're so used to being the, dominant species on this planet. But what if that changed? What if we had to, share the stage with other intelligent beings who could, vocalize their needs and desires just as clearly as we can?
It's a fascinating question, and it's one that philosophers have been grappling with for centuries. But I think it all kind of boils down to respect, If we can learn to listen to and understand other species, even if their way of communicating is different from ours, then perhaps we can create a more,
Harmonious and
equitable world for all living beings.
That's a beautiful thought. And I think one that this whole deep dive has been kind of hinting at all along, even though we're talking about a hypothetical scenario, it's prompting us to think about our relationship with animals in a new and potentially transformative way.
Exactly. And that's the power of speculative thinking. It allows us to explore possibilities, challenge our assumptions, and maybe even glimpse a future where communication and understanding transcend those boundaries of species.
I love that. And it's amazing how this whole conversation started with a simple video script designed to teach English. It just goes to show that even the most playful and seemingly absurd ideas can lead to some pretty profound insights.
Absolutely. And I think that's a great takeaway for our listeners today. Don't be afraid to embrace those what-if questions. No matter how silly or far-fetched they may seem, you never know where they might lead you.
I couldn't agree more. And speaking of what-if questions, I have one final thought to leave you with, something to ponder as you go about your day. What if, instead of just cats, all animals could talk? What would be the most surprising thing we might learn from them?
Wow. That's a really thought-provoking question. It makes you wonder, if their insights would challenge our understanding of the world, or maybe even reveal some hidden wisdom we never expected.
Imagine hearing a bird's perspective on migration, or a dolphin's take on ocean conservation. It could completely change our understanding of nature and our place in it.
Right. And it might not just be about, the grand mysteries of the universe. What if we learn something unexpected about the everyday lives of animals? Would their thoughts and desires turn out to be more similar to ours than we ever imagined?
It's fascinating to think about. Maybe dogs would confirm that they truly love us unconditionally. Or maybe squirrels would finally reveal the secrets of their incredible nut hiding skills.
Speaking of squirrels, their ability to remember the location of thousands of buried nuts is remarkable. Imagine if they could tell us how they do it. Maybe humans could learn a thing or two about, memory and spatial awareness from them.
That would be incredible. It really highlights the the potential for learning and understanding. If we could, tap into the minds of other species, it might even lead to breakthroughs in fields medicine or technology.
You're absolutely right. And beyond the scientific advancements, I think the most valuable lesson might be a deeper sense of empathy and connection with the natural world.
I completely agree. This deep dive started with a humorous video script about talking cats.
Yeah.
But it's really opened up a whole world of possibilities.
It's a reminder that curiosity and imagination are powerful tools for learning and growth. And sometimes the most profound insights come from exploring, seemingly lighthearted ideas.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today, we encourage you to keep pondering those what-if questions. What would you ask your pet if it could talk? What secrets do you think the animal world holds? And most importantly, how would those answers change your perspective on life?
It's been a fascinating journey exploring this topic with you. We've covered, language learning, the human-animal bond, and the potential for, interspecies communication. It just goes to show that even a seemingly simple question can spark some truly deep and insightful conversations.
Thanks for joining us on this uniquely engaging deep dive. We hope you've learned something new today, and maybe even been inspired to look at the world around you with a renewed sense of wonder. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep those what-if scenarios coming.